Hey everyone, welcome to Second Sight Tarot. I am here to do the full moon in Aries reading for October 20th, 2021. I've already meditated on the cards. Please remember that this is a general reading and may not resonate with everyone, so please take what does and leave the rest. And if you enjoy the readings and enjoy what I have to offer, please like and subscribe to the channel. It helps it grow. So we are doing the full moon in Aries. A little bit about the full moon. It's also called the Hunter's Moon or the Blood Moon, and there's a few other names as well, but these are the most popular and most spoken. This was called, the name is because it singled the time of when hunters would go hunting to prepare for winter. So it's also about finding balance, or maybe just like bringing focus into finding balance of meeting your needs and meeting your significant other's needs, or people that are around you that you love. Finding a balance with everyone getting their needs met to an extent, as much as you can. At least bringing awareness that, not being so internal with meeting your own needs and not seeing the needs of others. Because I think that as these readings evolve for me, or unravel for me personally, as what I'm seeing in the cards, it seems to be more of like collective energy coming together to have more connection and interweaving of energies, instead of being so separate and segregated and not getting along. And I feel like the reading, just from the cards that I pulled, also support that type of feeling. So we'll see as we go along. I'm doing a different reading today. I don't know if I mentioned this, but it's not mine. I tweaked it. I found it online. If I can remember where I found it, I will link it down below in the comments, but or in the description box. But I kind of just tweaked it to make it more of a collective reading than a personal reading. So let's get started. The overall essence of this reading, I pulled a bunch of cards because they're fun and spooky. The Knight of Blades, or the Knight of Swords, which I think this card totally represents what we're going through right now. Just so you can see the card. So I think this card can be very heavy for me right now because of what's going on in the world and how we're processing it, and the armor that we could be building around us. Could be good and could be not so great, because I do think there's a direct energy, just in the meaning of the energy of the Knight of Swords. Very direct, can be very impatient. So that type of energy. Also astrologically, there's a lot going on that could represent or kind of bring us into this type of energy as well, being impatient. But also focused. For some, there's a lot of focused energy into something that we really want to shift or change. I think a lot of people are becoming enlightened about what works, what doesn't work for them. And I forgot to talk to you about my hat. I'm just doing more of a Halloween thing, since this is the last full moon or last moon reading I'm going to do for the month of October. Sorry. If you were wondering why I was wearing the hat. Anyway, a very intellectual type of energy. I think people are starting to get things. Not all, but a lot of people are awakening. They're getting things. They're being more daring. They're being more ambitious to do the things that they want to do, and like shift things that are not working for their lives. And they're kind of bringing in more of a personal DNA type of energy, like things that were really stimulating and inspiring to them. Things that have been kind of stored deep down inside. And that's what this card makes me feel like. So, very ambitious, daring type of energy of the Knight of Blades or Swords. And don't forget, Knights are all about taking action. So I do think there's this action being made here. Some in a lower vibration, some in a higher vibration, depending on where you're at and the things that you really want to accomplish. So wherever you are mentally, physically, spiritually, that vibration will magnify at this time. So just a reminder to maybe check in with your thought process and what you're thinking and the things that you're saying and how you're saying it, and are you being judgmental, and all of those aspects. The next card that came in, which fell with this card, is Distraction and Battle. So, and I'll show you these cards individually and then I'll show you them together. So I do think that we are being distracted so that things can happen externally. Could be in your personal life, could be at work, could be overall energy. But this is just this is the overall energy of what's going on right now. We are very distracted and there is war around us. There's conflict because it's rubbing against the way that we perceive things or used to perceive things. And things are coming to the forefront now, and we're acknowledging things that we have to shift in our lives and going with the flow of change and not resisting it, or maybe resisting it. Where are you in this process? There's a lot going on. So this is a matter of like standing up for yourself, and maybe not so much battle for in the negative sense of battle, but standing up for your belief system, standing up for what's important to you. And the distraction part, just pay attention. This is just saying like pay attention to your surroundings, because when there's a distraction, there's something going on the other side of that too. So it's just this is just saying like use this, intellectual energy of this night, use this ambition and daring energy, but make sure you check everything in your focus, making sure that you see all things and that it's legit. That's what this is saying. We also have, and this is also a very big time of healing, shedding stuff, finding balance. So, and then the soulmate card came out. This is also a 5, and 5s are all about, change. It could be conflict. It could be instability with all of this stuff, change, going through the change and not accepting or not moving. I kind of did say like moving through the flow of it. Sorry, my head. Fun, but itchy. But this is soulmates. And what this means to me is exactly what I was saying before, which is, or maybe not on here, but in general, I've been saying like needing to come together as a group, as a human race, as a society, as a culture, as a tribe, to really find a common ground of acceptance so we can all move through and navigate this change in this lifetime now, right here and now, together instead of being so separate. I think it's a really important time to come together. And I can't say this enough. And this is what's been popping up in my readings a lot, because I think that's what's important. Not so much what's just important for me, but like important for survival, I think. So just coming together, uniting, not being so split apart by all of the stuff that's going on in life, like realizing we're all from the same source. We all were born the same way. We're all going to die the same way. Meaning like we come into this world, we experience it, we leave. Like it's not any different for anybody else. So coming together and finding a shoulder to lean on, or, a commonality between, which is love, like just loving thy neighbor, accepting that you don't have to agree with their differences, but just honoring that they're just going through this process the best they can. And that is what I'm feeling on this full moon. And just letting go of maybe some hostility, some judgment, that kind of stuff. It just helps things go along as we shift little by little. Making these small changes creates, a very big change or shift and vibration. Okay, so what we should focus on right now, what do we need to focus on? We have the Queen of Pentacles in reverse. I will show you the upright. I think these are the Green Witch Tarot. I'm the worst at seeing what my decks are. Sorry about that. But they're really pretty. So the Queen is, in the reversal. Well, if we're focusing on something, I'm going to read you or explain to you, read the card as it is reversed. But if we're focusing on something, we want to do the opposite of where it is. Okay, so it could be a little bit of greed, selfishness on the reversed side of it. Very self-absorbed, kind of getting your needs met only what we talked about in the beginning. Materialistic, intolerant to other people, And then, so I feel like if what we need to focus on here is how to be, to being a little bit more caring and concerned for others, nourishing, nurturing to others, generous, comforting, those types of energy. So for this full moon, and also taking care of what you need to take care of at home, like making sure that the home is okay for right now, because, we're going into winter and we're going into some things that are not so pretty when it comes to weather and when it comes to like some things going on in the world. So making sure that you are safe and secure and prepared for whatever in your home. So I think that's really important. Maybe not spending so much money, maybe saving some money for some, nurturing yourself, nurturing people around you, just giving that love. And I had said, this is what I meant by here about the soulmates, just like really coming together and being more caring, loving. It's all over the reading. So I will pull a couple cards. This one here. It's interesting. This is the ending of a chapter, happy endings. And also listening, the silent mind and silence your mind and pay attention. This goes a lot with the distraction card of just being distracted and not focusing on the things that you need to focus on and not seeing the whole picture as an observer, just really paying attention to the things that you're doing and what other people are doing around you. And happy endings, there are a few 10s in this reading, which is ending a cycle or a completion of some sort. So this is the same thing. This is like ending a cycle. There's a renewal happening, and there's some newness coming in, or new concept, or new ways of processing things, new ways of seeing things. I think because of all this action, because of this action means there's like the stagnation period is kind of ended, and now we're moving through something different, something new. We're moving through change. So in order to do something new and see something new, something must end. And this is coming to an end here. Also, this is clarifying the Queen of Pentacles in reverse. And I think that we have to create around us patience is a huge one, and just caring for others. And going out of the, I know we're not in the new year now, but it's just like kind of like going through this next cycle of existence with that type of energy will bring more of a peaceful, happy ending to this cycle of whatever this cycle ends. Could be the next new moon. I don't know. I'm just saying, like, I think this is beyond that. I think this is something that needs to be around for a little bit and needs to unravel. But just a reminder as we go into the full moon that, maybe this is something that we can releasing the intolerance, releasing the self-absorbing energy, releasing, the materialism, is safe, like feeling insecure financially, feeling insecure physically, and just start to really focus on bringing in the good aspects of that, secure feeling, confidence, patience, caring, nurturing, that kind of stuff. So I'm going to move on, but I feel very comfortable knowing what that means. So for the next position, it is what we need to release and to move forward through this. Like how to get into that nurturing space and that like caring space and comforting space, and bringing more of a home feeling to what we're doing, like being in the home and being comfortable and happy. That's for some, not for all. We have the Two of Wands in the reverse. I'll put it in the upright so you can see. So what we're releasing here is over analyzing things. The fear of taking a risk because she's in the reversal. I say she because she's in, like, there's a woman in here, but it's neutral, gender neutral. So like not taking action. Like that we're releasing the stagnant energy and finally taking action. This is what we're doing here. There is action already. The Knight is showing us that we're moving forward here. So really releasing the playing it safe card, like really taking a risk, releasing the fear of taking risk, the releasing the fear of not taking action and moving forward, releasing fear itself. So that's what that is saying. I'll do one of these. Can you please clarify? Let me just shuffle these. Two of ones and others. I love this card. So what we can release is negative talk to ourselves. The purity card is how we speak to ourselves, bringing pure, organic, like words to the way we speak, our thought process, like getting rid of negative doubt, self-doubt, loathing, lack of self-worth or belief in oneself. Like those are all negative energies. This is also a 3, which is about like growth and, really starting to connect with the spiritual world now, like really coming into a spiritual awakening and finding creativity through that, finding like yourself through that, finding God from that, whatever that means for you, because it can mean something for so many people, something different for so many people. But it doesn't matter what the end goal is. It's a matter of speaking your truth, speaking clearly, speaking like precise about what you really want without negativity attached to it, or self-doubt or fear. So what you're releasing is the negativity and judgment on yourself and others, and speaking purely on what really is true to you and what you really want in your life, not negative crap about anybody else or yourself. So getting rid of self-doubt is a big one. Please clarify. They go together. Logic and evolution, the head. And I'm not surprised if the heart or intuition comes out of this, because they always come together, as I always say. But actually it's right here if you look at it. Like this is connecting to your intuition about what you really want, and then verbalizing or communicating it in the purest way. The head is saying like, yes, we all always need to find a balance between heart and heart, or head and intuition. But this is about sorting out, learning what we need to learn, within this, what we're releasing here. Kind of sorting it out in your mind, but then always finding a connection. So really like kind of cleaning house in a sense of the way we think about things, the way we process things. I'll put one more. Spiritual guidance. I do think there's a spiritual awakening here. And in order to really move forward in the purest way, or the most authentic way for us to get what we really need internally, spiritually, we have to get rid of the negativity in our minds and what is stored in the body. We have to release these things. Get a massage, take a bath, take a walk, go to the beach, get in the water, go for a walk in the woods, and like ask to release these things that no longer serve us here. And just know that you are not alone in this process. So many people are doing this. Number one, energetically, you're not alone doing this, but also, some of you or all of you, you have this spiritual guidance. There's something, and this doesn't mean religion. This just means like there's a push behind you, and you might not know where it is coming from. You don't like, you're like, why do I feel this way? I just feel different. I feel like something's an awakening inside of me. This is just your true self. You've had this all along. You're just acknowledging it now. There's just the crack open. The door is cracked open. And go with this flow, because this is a calling to you to get to your higher self. This is not like a fluke. This is legit. Listen to what you're feeling and go with it. You know best for yourself when you start to listen to yourself. So that's quieting the mind too, like being silent and like letting, you don't have to meditate and like find ways to meditate. You can just do some breath exercises where you're focusing on your breath, or just focus on breathing in through the heart or breathing in through the crown, down the spine, and then like, out the root or out of the heart, wherever you want to find a way to focus on your breath for 5 to 10 minutes. Those are when the answers come. And that's when your intuition has like, oh, there's silence. I can be heard because it's so subtle. So just paying attention to that. We're moving on to what keeps us what will keep us motivated as, in this area, to succeed in this area. Let me rephrase that. What will keep us motivated to succeed through this area of releasing and staying focused? Okay. We have the 6 of Swords. This is moving on energy. So what we need to keep motivated to succeed, what will motivate us, like this moving on energy. There's a sense here of moving forward or leaving behind something that no longer wants to be around you. Like you don't want to be around this type of energy anymore. This is no longer serving you. And also accepting the lessons as they come and asking for help, but also most important thing, and this goes with the energy from what we said here, what's, soulmates and just this energy as a whole, is, helping others. So this is help. This is about helping. This could be helping yourself finally by moving on from something that is toxic or something that doesn't serve you anymore. And what will motivate you to keep, to succeed is to release, just to know that there's something more out there. To know by moving on, you're moving on to something better, and things will come to you as you start to unravel this and like really start to see things in a different way. Accepting the lessons that you have left behind is number one. As lessons learned, not mistakes, but as lessons learned. And then from those teachings, moving forward, you're going on this beautiful adventure. Like this person, he is taking his horse and he's like going on this journey. He's moving on. I don't feel like this is running away energy. I think this is just like, I need to go explore a different way of doing things. And I'm going to take this journey and just like go help myself be a different person. And in the interim of helping myself, I'm going to be lifting people up too. So I'm going to clarify. Thank you. Oh, also 6s also represent communication, cooperation, like compassion, deep-seated emotions. So having compassion for yourself, that's where the help comes in, like having compassion for yourself and having compassion for others, and communicating this kind of stuff. This is about communication, a lot of this. And resistance, this is a 7. It's also about like reflecting and assessing situations, reflecting from your past, like reflecting all of those things that you've learned, all those lessons that you've learned. And really taking this deep inner knowledge that you've learned and using it as inner wisdom, like now transmuting it into something that's going to create abundance for you with whatever situation you're in. But it's a time of reflection and assessing where you want to go next. But within assessing, it's like also assessing realizing what you are holding on to still and what you're not willing to let go of or release a little bit, or just like loosen up the grip on some things. This could be control. This could be physical things like materialistic things, emotions that you don't want to release. So it's just saying, take a look at that and see if there's anything that you can kind of focus on and bring your awareness to release, to help you on this journey. Because when you release something, you bring something in. And since we're going through this happy ending, or like this ending of a cycle, you're allowing this newness to come in, but you can only fill your cup so much, and you have to loosen the grip with things that are really not serving you anymore in order to allow something new to come in on this next journey of letting go and taking a risk. So I feel good with that. Hopefully you do too. So we're going now into, what is our distractions? Like, what is distracting us here in this situation right here? Is it the battle between people? Is it the battle between your mind? Is it home? Is it work? Is it like, what is that negative space that is causing a distraction? I had to pull a couple cards off this because I was distracted from seeing what was. But the first card that came up was the 10 of Cups. So, for some, what I think the 10 of Cups, the distraction of this is staying in a situation that you think is secure and fulfilling, emotionally stable, but are putting too much focus in that and you're distracted from other things. Or you're looking for this and that's a distraction of like really looking at yourself a little bit more to like work on self, and be like well-rounded or well-versed in like all the other things in your life. Also, this could also be a distraction of like you're working so hard to sustain this happiness within the home. Like, we have a big house, we have 3 cars, we have a pool, we have all this stuff. And you're like, this is like a distraction from really being able to look at yourself personally and go inward a little bit, because you have this obligation now to keep up what you've started, which is a lot of us. We live beyond our means. We painted this beautiful picture, but it's hard to sustain it that way. Eventually we burn out and we get exhausted. So for some, that could be the case. Or even just the fact that you really want that and that's like the only thing that you're fixated on. So that could be a distraction to really working on self and manifesting the really important things in your life other than just that situation, which is very important. But as long as you know that there's got to be a fine balance of like meeting your needs and everyone else's needs, or meeting like all of your needs, not just one aspect of your needs. So the other aspect, or the other card that came up, was the Ace of Swords in reverse. So the Ace of Swords here in this area, I think that there's a lot of confusion. This could be two separate things because they came out together. So for some of you, it could be that. For some of you, it could be like you're really confused about where you want to go or what you want to do. You're miscommunicating it. Maybe you're not asking for it in the way, maybe you don't know how to ask for it in a certain way, or there's some kind of miscommunication with someone else that is preventing you from, some kind of argument or something, or miscommunication, which is retrograde right now. So Mercury retrograde, which is totally possible, of things not being understood correctly, which could create arguments and stuff. But there's also confusion about something. There's confusion about something specific. It could be specific for you, or maybe just not understood what it is. Whatever it is, it's distracting you from being on your main game here, like really being well-rounded and like balanced in your life. As far as together, the energies that I'm getting here, and I really tried to analyze this a lot. I'm getting stumped here because there is a confusion, or there is like a misunderstanding of some sort. I don't know. I'm having a hard time doing this as well. So, but I do think that there is a feeling of burnout, because I had to clarify both of these because I wasn't getting it. Like I just could not connect to this for some reason. So I asked another card and I got the King of, this is the After Tarot. I got a King of Wands, and it started to make sense now, because now I feel like the distraction here is maybe us not having the confidence or the leadership or assertiveness or the responsibility. Could be responsibility for all these things you have to maintain, like we talked about in the home. But for some, there's not a connection of what we need, what our responsibilities are, like, or how to attain them. I'm really confused about this. So if I'm not making sense, totally makes sense. But I'm going to pull some clarifiers here too. I do feel there's a burnout, and maybe that's why some people are just exhausted, mentally exhausted, physically exhausted. There's confusion. There's just that type of energy that is just not bringing focus or clarity to situations. There could be a lot of stress or obligations, and this card the king goes really well with the 10 of cups for me when it comes to like having responsibilities, being really stressed out about those fulfillments and those things the security that we've created around us. I think that there is those obligations cause a lot of stress and makes you feel like you're so responsible, like being responsible for a lot of things all the time. And that's where the burnout is coming from. Like, we're tired, and then the Ace of Swords is like, maybe it's causing a lot of arguments because maybe you're pulling more weight than the other person, or the other person's pulling more weight or taking the lead in a lot of other things. And maybe that's where there's some kind of conflict or something within the home, or the structure of what you need as stability, what that represents for you. I think it's unraveling as I'm doing this now. But there's just not clarity, and there's not balance there, and there's not a rooted energy. It's very chaotic, and it's very up in the clouds type of energy. And I think that's why I can't grasp it and bring it down. But I think I have an understanding of what this means. I'm going to pull one more card. I hope that kind of makes sense. I have to figure out this for myself in my own life too. I think I have an idea, but that's why it's hard for me to understand it, to articulate it. It's definitely about the home. And it is about feeling, I think there's a lot of exhaustion and not being clear, maybe not being so happy with what you thought what used to bring you happiness or fulfillment. It's maybe not. So that could be a distraction, or keeping this 10 of Cups, keeping all of this up for a place that you call home might making you a little bit exhausted. Maybe going within a little bit here in silence, breath work and stuff might help you find some more clarity about the things that you can get rid of or release from this, that you can take the load off of your back a little bit more, as a couple or as a household or just you individually. If that makes sense. Sorry, I didn't clarify that as well as I would like to have. Anyway, we're moving on to the actions we need to take in this whole process. Sorry, it's a new spread, so I'm cheating. I'm a cheat sheet of like the order of cards. So the Page of Wands we have, which I like. I like the Page of Wands here because this is taking, these are the actions of like releasing fears that don't serve us anymore, being excited for new things coming in, something that's being created here. Like having some new ideas, going on adventures, creating things that really feel good to you spiritually feel good to you, or passionately feel good to you, something that is like really creating fire within. So this is like really bringing an awareness here and starting to take action to attain or release some of these things that cause things like this excitement not to happen. So releasing fear of the unknown, but also a failure, not like, it doesn't matter if you fail, you just learn from that and then you move on, and then you're like already at the next step because what doesn't work to not to do it again. But this is the things that we need to take action on, is bringing some more excitement in our life, like what we find finding our creativity, what creates a spark, like what new idea do we have that we really want to dabble in. Could be a hobby, could be like a new concept or a new career or whatever. I'm going to pull a couple cards here. But I do love this for the action of what do we need to take action in. It's creating things, like taking an idea and taking it to the next step. Believing in yourself. And I think I said this before about having the inner wisdom, you know. This is all about stability because it's a 4, but it's also about your loyalty to something, your inner wisdom, or how you manifest it. You know, do you have structure? Having structure, like this is your way of building now, or you're like, you know, you're kind of putting the pieces together. In this card, you can be reaching, like you have this knowledge and wisdom, you know what you want, and now you're asking the universe for it. You're reaching into a higher place to like pull this energy down, or you are asking for help to have this wisdom, like reading self-care books or self-help books, or like, you know, looking for a motivational speaker and that kind of stuff. So that energy is beautiful with this because this will help you find stability within this passionate, you know, spark to bring something to fruition. Number one, knowing you have the wisdom to attain this, if you just connect with yourself a little bit to see what you really want, and making sure that you attain those needs, you know, within what you want, making sure that you're happy with the end result or the starting result, wherever you are. But also just like, you know, and then if you do know, putting it out into the universe, like start communicating this in this very pure, unfearful, unjudgmental way, you know, like not allowing your negative chatter to like self-doubt yourself into this. Let me clarify. Unfamiliar territory. I get this a lot in this reading, in these readings. So you can look at this card and you can say to yourself, like, okay, it's a fish out of water. You can be in 2 situations with this card. You can jump out of the water and you can look at that journey and you say like, holy shit, I can't believe I have to go through all that just to get to my ending result. Like, what am I thinking? And have this negative chatter and not have this pure communication coming forward. Or you can jump out of water and say like, oh my goodness, I'm so excited for this journey. Look what I have to do. Like, I have such a cool journey ahead until my goal. This is also reminding you that it's not the destination. I say this so many times, but it's not the destination that matters only. It's the journey. The journey creates the lessons and the happy times and the adventure and all that stuff. So, you know, whatever new spark you're sparking here spiritually or passionately, making sure when you have this and it's ready to go that you appreciate every step of the way. Because that's what life is about. It's about experiencing the adventure of life, not just jumping to the end result. I know it's going to be a happy ending, but enjoy the journey. Next we have, hopefully that's good. We're good there. What do we put behind us? We have the 10 of Swords, and I just love this. I'm going to look at the card to intuitively read it afterwards, but the 10 of Swords, first of all, this is becoming to a completion, an ending of a cycle, a renewal of some sort. Excuse me. But it's also feeling exhausted from this journey because it's been a long one. There's a lot to do here and unravel. So it's feeling exhausted or feeling like at a dead end because it is the end, but not feeling that it's the dead end. So what we can put behind us is this notion of like, you know, having it not good enough, or maybe just appreciating what it is for what it is, the lessons that you've learned from this. But also like a feeling of bitterness, like what we leave behind is like feeling bitter about certain things, or feeling like we failed. And I've said this in the beginning, it's not failure, it's lessons learned, or a little while ago. So these are all things that we leave behind. Yes, we could be exhausted. That's fine. We are exhausted. We work really hard to have what we have here, as you can see, of the home and stuff. Or to like survive in general. But we have to release or let go of this feeling of failure or I can't attain this, or disbelief that we can't get what we want, because we already accomplished it here. And she's sitting here around this fire and she has like, I think it's like carrots or something. She's making food and she's got all her swords around her, you know. And it's also, this to me is like, I'm sitting here taking acknowledgement. And I feel like what she's doing here is like almost doing this ritual of sitting with all of these feelings, sitting with exhaustion, sitting with like feeling it's a dead end road, sitting with the failure, sitting with like this lack of confidence or what, like defeated or deflated type of feeling. She's putting this all around, like she's and like almost having this ceremonial like, you know, evening with all of these feelings, and she's still giving thanks and bringing nutrients and nourishment to all of these feelings. She's supporting them, and she's taking it as like really deep loss of some sort, but then she's also creating life. She's creating food. She's creating, like, she's putting it in the ground, which neutralizes energy, you know, like the earth neutralizes these ions, and like she's kind of burying all of these concepts of herself and all of these failures and dead ends and exhaustion, giving up kind of mentality. She's giving this up. So she's letting this go and realizing she has to keep going. So what we let go of was all of those things that I mentioned, but that you keep going. You don't give up. You pay acknowledgement and thanks for those lessons. You say thank you, honor them. You don't just like flush them down the toilet kind of energy. You really sit with them, acknowledge them, take from them what you've learned or what you're going to take from them to learn. And then you move on and you keep going and you start anew. She's creating a new cycle within the ending of a cycle. This is the new cycle. It's paying your respects and honoring your journey that just passed, that just completed, but now you're starting a new one. With all of that knowledge and all of that wisdom that you've attained through all of this story that we've unraveled for the full moon. Like I said, I keep saying it's a new moon. So, you know, we really need to focus on what is important to us, what we want to get out of this journey, what we're willing to let go of this journey. You know, what are we willing to release and like just take some stuff off of our back, like this what is achievement and fulfillment to our lives? Like, is there something that you don't need, that you could live without, to lighten up the load and really bring focus to the distractions that you have? And what are your battles inside? Is it your own self? Is it people around you? Like, what are the back and forths that you don't need anymore? This negative energy. You know, bring love to where it needs to be, to each other, and just stay focused on the action of what your ambitions are. Anyway, that's a really, I really like this for the full moon, because I think that some of this stuff really needs to go. In the times that we're moving in, we need to like go lighter in this time. I don't think we're gonna have a choice for a lot of things. You know, like things are shifting and we have to go with the flow of change and stop resisting this change, or like not letting go of something that doesn't serve you anymore, because you have to go with a lighter backpack on this new journey. These self-care cards for the collective for the full moon, October 2020. Being still is one of them. This is subconscious stuff. This is what is really needed. Taking deep breaths, really going in deep, finding stability within this, you know, finding your inner wisdom and finding ways to manifest the things that you want to, or to believe that you can manifest the things that you want to. Be still. Again, that was here. So very appropriate. Sound healing, binaural beats, drumming, sound, crystal bowls, tuning forks, chanting, just tuning, like toning out of your mouth, listening to really good music that really brings you happiness and makes you feel lighter. Clear your energy field, sage yourself. These two go together here. These two go together. So cleansing your house, cleansing your spirit, really seeing things. Connecting with the earth, which I definitely think is very important here. Going barefoot in soil, the beach, and we mentioned this in the beginning, but just connecting with the earth here to help with barefoot is best. Just to help with the energy that is blocked and to get a clear field or like flow going internally to help us, really connect to our intuition and to let go of things that don't matter anymore. Ground yourself. This is what we're saying. This is like rooting yourself like a tree, like really grounding yourself in this chaotic time to help you keep structured and keep focused. I think that was it, yeah. So I hope that this resonated. I'm sorry for having it really heavy lately, but that's what's just going on in the readings and in life. So I'm hoping that it's like, good for everyone. Sorry. Sometimes I want these to be lighter, but they just are not. So anyway, have a really great full moon. This could be really powerful if you just shift perceptions and like be a little lighter. There's a few things that you can do, very tiny steps, but hard to do, that you can really focus on in this next full moon stage. Take care of yourself, and I will see you on Halloween.